We appreciate you on Comic Book Canon. That's right. It is Audience Appreciation Night, and you are the most wonderful audience on the planet. I mean, millions of you follow us and watch us each and every Sunday, probably VOD afterwards too. 2-3 times you watch each episode. You people are incredible, and we love you so much that we wanted to give back to all of you people today. That's right. All of you people will be receiving something, but not all of you people will receive the biggish kind of prizes, which is, as you saw, which is Silver Surfer 1 and Dazzler 1, courtesy of our good friend, co-host of the Canon, 360 Comics. How's it going?
What's up? Yeah, I found myself with a couple extra copies of those two books. So, what better way to do something good with them than to give back to the Comic Book Canon community who comes in here and puts up with Jeff every week.
Puts up with me?
Puts up with you. I mean, they're here for me. No.
I mean, they've only had 1 week of Chet. Speaking of, he's knocking on the door right now.
Chet.
If ignorance is bliss, then you guys must be the happiest people on the planet. Too bad it's not a superpower.
Words hurt. He hasn't figured that one out. Words absolutely hurt. You know what? Screw him. Let's bring in the true co-host. You know, Chet is gunning to be co-host. But the three of us, by three, I mean Christopher, Joe, and myself, we're not going to let that happen, are we, Chris? Chet is not taking over the canon.
You know what? It's there's only room. You know what they say? Well, is 3 a crowd a bad thing for 3? Well, 4 is a crowd because 3 is all we can handle here.
Yeah, seriously, it really is. Chris is on the show for about maybe a quarter of the show. We're gonna get into the news. We're gonna do big announcements. Because again, we are giving away 2 comic books to the grand prize winner, but everybody else will be getting something. Everybody else, we promise you will be getting something before the end of the night. But so yeah, it's a big show. We got lots to talk about. But before we get into the news, Joe, talk about this.
Oh yeah. Well, this is the 3rd time around, not just as in the 3rd Back Deck Comic Fest, but it's our 3rd attempt at having the 3rd Back Deck Comic Fest. We got rained out in March. We got rained out 2 weeks ago. We're trying again this coming weekend, Saturday, April 29th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Of course, weather dependent. Right now, we're seeing a chance of showers.
Are you serious?
We are right now. I am hoping that changes throughout the week. Of course, I won't make the final decision until we're a little bit out. Certainly by early the morning of, if not the day before. Man, I hope we can have this thing. It has just been coincidentally raining every time I schedule it, but the weather was beautiful today. So let's hope we have that next Saturday.
Yep. I can speak for Chris and myself. We really hope it happens. Again, depending on my schedule, maybe I'll come back down, but you really hurt my feelings the last time I did. But if you all saw the video last week, it was really pain in the ass. Man, you guys are popping off in the chat. Feel like we have to say hello real quick to everybody, but we'll do that after the news because this is just insanity. I don't know how we're going to catch up with this. But again, like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We really appreciate the support because tonight is Audience Appreciation Night. We'll get into all of the specifics in a bit. Actually, should we start the grand prize right now? Explain what it is, how it works?
Yeah, let's do that since it's going to be throughout the entire show.
Yep. You have to stick around for the end of the show. We're going to keep track.
Yeah, so these 2 books, very, very rare. I don't have 400 copies of each of them. Dazzler number 1, Silver Surfer number 1. These are being given out to what we consider the best comment of the night. Now, this could be the comment that made us laugh the most. This could be the most, heartfelt comment, the one that tugs at the heartstrings, as Jeff says. This could be a really insightful comment that really was thought-provoking. It doesn't matter what it is. But we're going to pick one commenter, obviously, of the night to get these 2 books. But everyone who participates in the chat tonight or watches this video on the rewind is going to be able to get a different prize. Are you going to talk about that now, Jeff?
No, we'll talk about that at the end of the news. So stick around for that. Nukes
Okay.
Comics. Do I go
I
for
got things
shock
out of
or
order.
comedy? That's the problem, man. That's it's up to you and how you feel in the moment. So we love you all. I mean, shit, we gotta get Chris. I know you got to get to dinner, but we gotta say hello to all these people. My gosh, Tony, Connor, what's happening? Cable Leland, aka Caleb Leland, Mark Leneker. Look at this guy. We got Goonish Lurker. We got Nikita Kare. We got Raw Dog Comics. We got Brendan Riley. We got Tony Trombetta in the house. We'll get to you, kind sir. We'll get to you in a second. We got Josh's Comics. That's right, Josh. Thanks for, everybody, please. Why not? I mean, like, subscribe. It helps us out. We got Raising Elm. We got Pope of Chili Town. Don't know what this is on the Turlet Monday morning. Don't know what that. Anyway, C to the G. Who else do we have? We got 360s here. Oh yeah. That's an Ask Joe, everybody. We'll get to that. It's quite interesting. And legit. We got Louis Logix is back in the house. We missed you, buddy, and your Doom covers. We got some today. No, that's a little, I guess that's a spoiler, but man, we had a packed house tonight. We love all you people. Jordan Norrie's here too. I think we missed you last week. Dr. Frankenstein, yes, he's already put Joe and I down. Then we had to bring Chris in to the 3 of us can stand up against AI, I think.
3 Musketeers.
Yeah. And then who's this Oni ounce guy? Anyways, we're so happy to have Chris here. We're going to get into the news because there's a lot to get into. And we, Joe and I touched upon this. I know Chris definitely has thoughts on this as well. But it's, in our society, you are innocent until proven guilty. And we said, let's hold off everybody to see what's happening here. There's not much good news coming out, but there is new news coming out. But again, we have to see where this goes. And we're not taking any side. Domestic violence is nothing to fuck around with. I'm throwing that out there. Drop the F-bomb. So we're not taking any sides. But again, let's let due process play out. Joseph.
Yeah. More development on the Jonathan Majors, issue that's happening right now. For those of you who missed it, maybe you've been living under a rock because I see it every time I open Instagram. But Jonathan Majors was arrested, accused of domestic violence by a girlfriend a couple weeks ago. And then seemingly, a day or 2 later, all charges were dropped. The allegations were recanted. Well, that wasn't the end of the story. And as time has gone by over the last few weeks, there have been additional allegations that have come out from past acquaintances. He has been dropped by agents' representation, dropped from 2 feature films. And that's
a
millions
big deal.
of dollars. Yeah, that's huge. It's not only costing him millions, I'm sure it's also costing the production companies and so on and so forth millions. And he was dropped by multiple sponsorships, brand deals. I know he had an Army or Navy, some military branch had him on commercials.
Yeah, the Army. Yeah,
they dropped him. And one thing we noticed, it's really interesting to see the difference between how he's being treated, being dropped from quite literally almost everything, as opposed to Ezra Miller, who really wasn't dropped at all. It seemed like, he was being supported by the people around him, saying, he needs help. And, totally mental illness is a thing. People do need help, but he was quite literally assaulting people in public on camera. So these are similar situations that are being handled in a totally different way. And, we kind of wanted to point that out.
Chris, I know you got thoughts, and I'd love to hear them. Joe would as well.
First and foremost, like you said, Jeff, I think all 3 of us, we understand. Let me not be too long-winded with this, but I think this is a good time to share a little situation that just happened to me about a week ago. I was leaving Walmart, and there was a woman that had a baby, maybe like 18 months old, like a big baby, but still a baby, young, small toddler. She was just getting all of her groceries in the back of her SUV, and she was pulling the baby out of the seat in the cart. She had the baby in her hand, and she was and she like turned around to shut the back of the SUV. And I'm walking past to get to my car, and I am walking up, and I'm about to put my hand on the cart, and I say, "Hey, do you want me to put this cart back for you?" Like, I didn't say it like that, but and I'm always very like, I am very conscious of being like sweet and whatever when I talk. And she literally like turned around and jumped. And then when she saw me and probably processed what I said, she was like, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm like, "Yeah, no worries." And I grabbed it and I started walking, and I walked it all the way to the place where you put the carts. The reason why I bring that up is because we live in a world where women still have to live in a certain type of fight or flight because of the world that they live in, that we as men don't always get to, that we'll never experience. I mean, of course, there's threats for anybody that live in this world. There's violence. There's lots of random crazy stuff going on. But women being hurt at the hands of men is never something that any of us here are going to condone. But Jeff, like you said, let's let due process be handled, especially since the initial situation, charges were dropped. It seemingly like that this big question marks. And to, the whole Me Too thing, like, I get it. Like, we live in a society, let us not overlook this too. We live in a society where women are often not believed. We live in a society where women often are scared to speak up. But we also live in a society where anybody, man, woman, it doesn't matter, are quick to take advantage. And I'm going to use Tupac as an example. Tupac was accused of raping a woman, and there was absolutely no evidence at all. And he was still sent to jail for basically all they got him on was putting his hands on a woman's behind, which again was basically the judge saying we have to get you with something. Without getting into that, it turns out that the FBI was involved in all that, and CIs, and I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole other reason why somebody would want Tupac put away. Whole other show. But the point that I'm saying is this. This man could easily, possibly be innocent. And he's in a situation to where his career might be ruined.
Well, it's already had major effects.
Yeah. And then that leads us to all these people dropping him. And here's the thing. Like, Joe, like you said, Ezra Miller. I mean, we literally have proof of what he was doing to women.
Video, yeah.
And so, and I don't want to get into it being a race thing or anything. I mean, that's all here nor there. You can argue that, but the bottom line to me is, look, first off, these companies or whoever's dropping them, they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
They can do whatever they want, but it is disheartening. It's disheartening to see all of this happening when so far there is no evidence that he is guilty of anything. And I just want to end on this note.
We haven't seen anything. People have been on record saying something. Apparently, accounts have been recanted and taken back. So there's a whole bunch of things still to play out.
There is. Now, there's a lot of people that would argue all this cancel culture and all this stuff. And it's a double-edged sword. Like, with social media and with everyone being, people say, "Oh, offended these days." Well, quite honestly, in all of that, people are actually wanting to hold people accountable. That's the good side of the sword. But then there's the other side where it can lead into this kind of almost counterproductive, counter toxicity, where we do end up turning it into more of a cancel culture, like where nobody, again, and it takes away from due process to where now we are guilty until proven innocent, and that's not how it should be. So if I was these companies, hey, I get it because everybody's under the microscope right now. But I would do something like maybe put stuff on hold, like say for right now, if I was the spokesperson or the CEO or management or whoever, I would say right now we are, taking a leave from working with Mr. Majors, whatever, like until he can work out his situation. Once more comes to fruition or whatever gets handled within, the due process and in the court of laws, then we'll come back and say, is this somebody that we want to represent or we want representing our company? And we will continue to keep the public posted, because then it keeps everyone in a neutral standpoint to where it says, okay, we are in a situation to where, again, we're going to support individuals' due process rights, but we're also going to protect ourselves and show the public that if it turns out that this individual is doing these things, we are going to hold him accountable and ourselves accountable to say, nope, we do not stand for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with things, studios are in a tough position. They need to make calls, and like if a film is going to production like in 2 months or what have you, they have to feel like they protect themselves. They don't want the negative press around it, because he's not going to clear his name immediately. There's still due process, as we talked about. So in terms of things like people wanting to recast Ezra Miller, and again, I'm comparing these because they're gigantic franchises that they're both in. It was way too far down the line. They were in post-production. It would cost as much as another film to recast Ezra Miller. As far as, Jonathan Majors goes, he's in Loki 2. We know that, right? Season 2. So that's not going to change. He will be seen in Loki 2. Who knows what happens after that? Marvel, I think, is doing the right thing. Just seeing how this plays out. They haven't said a word.
Right.
Because they are letting things play out as they should. If he's found guilty with, in a court of law, and again, there can be questionable outcomes in that too. They'll probably make a move. But until then, we need to have this all play out. He's getting dropped left and right by a lot of like the PR. It's like, I don't know. Again, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We're not taking any sides. We're not condoning anybody's behavior. If this is true, he should deal with the punishment that comes with it. If it's not, though, he's already irreparably harmed. So not irreparably. He's probably doing okay with millions of dollars in the bank. But we're going to move on here. We're just updating because a lot of you have been asking the past couple weeks. We haven't really heard much. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I just want to say one thing, because I think this thought has been in my head all week. And I don't know who I mentioned it to. I might have mentioned it to you, Jeff. But I was thinking, man, what if Winston Duke had not been cast as M'Baku and they got him? Because Winston Duke, absolutely could do that role. That dude is a phenomenal actor.
He's great. He's great.
That is like the first person that came to mind when I was thinking, we got, replacing Jonathan Majors. If it comes to that, who would be good? And I was like, man, Winston Duke would be so good in that role.
He would. Yeah. Anyway, he's M'Baku, and I hope we see him as M'Baku more.
Yeah, he is M'Baku now.
He's
King
of Wakanda.
Damson Idris.
Oh, you've been talking about that guy for a long time.
He was the one that I said, if he would be the only person that I would be okay with playing T'Challa after Chadwick. But after, not to give anything away, if you guys watched the last episode of Snowfall, but his range, man, he is going to be like a Chadwick and a Denzel. He has the range, I think, to do it too. I know he doesn't have like necessarily the stature. He could bulk up though.
All right. We're getting way too far ahead of ourselves. We're gonna move on to something less serious, but something super, super exciting. Joe, let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Next piece of news information is regarding the Transformers. We know we're getting a Beast War movie. Well, we got a trailer recently for that, but there's been another announcement on the horizon. This one for next year, and instead it is an animated movie. It is set to be a prequel that is supposed to be an origin story after the Beast Wars movie soft reboots the universe. So this is going to be a prequel, and due to that, a lot of people are thinking, the rumors are swirling, that it takes place on Cybertron, the home planet of the Transformers. The movie is being directed and helmed by Toy Story 4 director Josh Cooley, and is set to be released next summer, July 19th, 2024. I think they needed a reboot. We've gotten a ton of Transformers stuff, and it quite honestly has gone downhill.
Oh,
It
it's gone underground.
yeah,
It's gone past downhill underground.
It's gone Michael Bayward.
Oh my God.
Like wayward, Bayward.
Yeah, so I think it's perfect. It's a great time to do it. I like they're incorporating live action and animated, similar to how the MCU is doing things, similar to how DC has used both of those different avenues to release their content. Yeah, cool. I'm not a huge Transformers guy. I was born in 1990, so I really missed that era of the 80s. But I've enjoyed the movies. I've enjoyed the content.
You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah. It's straight 80s. That movie was awesome. I know it's not connected, but the Michael Bay shit show we've had for over a decade has finally come to the end. When Bumblebee came out, was outstanding. I really hope they do Beast Wars right and set this thing back on path. And to get an origin story, I guess, of what Cybertron and how this all started, that we haven't seen that in decades. It's probably been in the comics. Maybe they touched upon it in the animated show.
The current ones are doing a good job with that. They're on season 3. I haven't started watching season 3 yet, but it's a decent job, and I think it shows what they can do at that feature film level right now.
Yeah, so I'm super psyched about this news, especially it'll fit into this whole kind of rebooted situation going on. And I bet you Cable Leland was saying yes, Jeff, because of my rendition of "You Got the Touch." Dun, dun. Never mind.
And
all right,
what they need to do, because he's came back for Beast Wars. Peter Cullen, man, I know he's like in his 80s now, but they got it.
As long as he can do it, please.
Yep.
James Earl Jones he's in his 90s, I think, and he's still putting some out here and there. All right, moving on to another big name property. Big name property. Joe. Boom.
Yeah, Superman Legacy, the helmed by Gunn himself. He's the one writing the script for the film, and script writing seems to be underway. He did make an announcement months back that they would not start even looking for an actor or anything like that until the script was finished or almost finished. Well, he now said that they are eyeing a couple actors. No casting decisions have been made yet, but it seems like the script is coming along nicely because they are starting to eye up actors. What they want is someone who looks younger than their 40s. It's not going to be, a Henry Cavill character. They did say that it's going to be an early Superman story, but not an origin. So we're not getting, teenage Clark Kent here, but we're not getting, a fully established Superman yet either. So I think that's pretty cool. Kind of somewhere in between the two. We got that's the first movie of the official new DC universe.
That's kicking it off. They're releasing more that were already in production under Safran and Gunn, but I'm psyched for this. I'm ready to just get it going already. Can't wait to see who they announce as, this is coming out in 2025. So we have a year and a half of probably maybe 2 years probably before, and they really have to start getting underway. So announcements are going to be made, and then, 6 to 8 months down the road, we may see some images and all that kind of stuff. This is going to be the tentpole that's going to, again, rise DC. I mean, it started with Man of Steel for the Snyderverse. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll wait to see it. I think, as cliche it may be, I'm glad that they're kind of starting out with Superman again. I mean, it's I would like to see, though, if they can actually kind of mesh the ruggedness of what Snyder was doing, but yet add more of the lighter side to Clark Kent that we got with Christopher Reeve in the original movies. and while keeping it fresh, because man, I'll tell you, this is going to be a fine line for them to be able to hit this right and then carry the universe on its back moving forward.
Yeah, man, it's a lot is riding on this. I have full faith in James Gunn. I really do, and what he's produced. I know Dan De La Torre has a lot of criticisms and doesn't think this is going to fail, but I have faith. They have a plan. They've never had a true plan with people who understand these characters. Yes, Joe, do you have any last thoughts on that before we move on to the final news piece?
I'm not a Superman guy. Literally, I'm like my enjoyment of Superman is in the negatives. Yeah, I'm really.
They're going after you. Then you're the demographic they want to convince.
Right. But I am excited about this.
Oh wow! Okay.
I watch every superhero movie, every comic book movie that comes out, even if it's not something that I like. And yeah, I'm excited to maybe potentially fall in love with Superman.
I hope so.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah, growing up, Spider-Man was number one. Chris and I talk about this all the time, but like Superman was close second. Like, and I just loved everything about it. I can get into my whole history about his journey, like John Byrne and everything. But anyways, I won't, because we have to move on to the next piece of news. But before we do, there are 30 of you here. 30 of you could potentially win Dazzler number 1 and the Silver Surfer number 1. How do you do that? It's the best comment. Chris probably won't be here till the end of the show, so Joe and I are going to decide on the best comment. I mean, if you want to use rules, you can use the Fresh from the Comic Shop rules. What are they? I don't remember. Something
a well-composed shot.
Well-composed sentence. Something unique and something that pulls at our heartstrings, make it funny.
Good grammar.
What's that, Chris?
Good proper grammar.
Yes. But I was like, what the hell happened? Did Chet take over?
I've got control now.
Look at that. I like that. Anyways, all right. So this is the last piece of news, and it's pretty big. You could save on that counts right there. Yeah. If I win, you could say I'm gonna star this. I think that's how we do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep track of that. And your wife's not eligible. That's Shelby, everybody, but I still love that. We're gonna use that.
She also doesn't want to win because that means the comics stay in the house. And that's the opposite of what she wants.
Yeah. Tony Trombetta, real quick. He really likes Superman's trunks. We could all ask him about what that means. But I bet you they will. Anyways, all right. So actually, Tony Trombetta is going to love this news because we're going to be pushing EGS on this. Even more reason for EGS, people. Joseph, let's do this, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about CGC and oh man. You know who hit me up about this and was talking my ear off?
Who?
Chet.
Oh crap.
Oh, there he goes. Ring a ding ding. He wants to talk about the CGC news. So here we go.
Well. Looks like CG Comics is finally making some changes to their pricing structure. But let's be real. If you're a true collector and you're complaining about these prices, maybe you should just stop collecting. Collecting isn't a cheap hobby, and if you can't afford to pay a few extra bucks to get your books graded, then maybe you should find a new hobby. It's not like Keechee is the only grading service out there, and there are plenty of other ways to enjoy the world of comics without breaking the bank. So to all the whiny collectors out there, stop complaining and either pony up the cash or move on. The rest of us will be enjoying our graded books and laughing at your cheapness. Hashtag stop whining, hashtag collecting is expensive, hashtag Chet life. Chet out!
He's such a dick. Let's get into the story, then we'll get into opinions, because I know everybody has some. Here we go. Joseph. Yes.
I will get into that in just a second, but I just want to say that the Comic Book Canon co-hosts, Jeff, Chris, and myself, we do not condone anything that Chet says.
Never.
We believe that collecting is for everyone, and you shouldn't be, completely priced out of the.
Yeah, we don't agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, even more reason for EGS, which we'll get into it fresh from the comic shop. Anyways,
yes.
Go for it.
So, CGC raised their prices. This is the 4th price schedule change in the last 2 years. You might remember when CGC graded books cost $15, $16 to get graded. It was only a few short years ago. That's for modern. Now they're going all the way up to $25, jumping from $22, which was the last one, up to $25 now. Not just modern, but multiple tiers have changed. Actually, all of them have gone up in price. Some of them have been renamed as well, just to confuse people even more. And one of them, Express, has been eliminated entirely. Not only is it eliminated entirely, but it's basically incorporated into the walkthrough tier, which is now called Unlimited. So they're they're doing some crazy nonsense. But it being incorporated into a higher tier means that it is now more expensive, significantly more expensive, to get those books graded. Pretty unfortunate. Fortunately, there's some good news that comes out of this. There's no change in price to getting books reholdered, so that's good. That has not gone up. And while pre-screening books did go up by $1 from $8 to $9, not too big of an increase, there is a positive that we can pull out of that, and that is that pre-screen books no longer require a 25-book submission. Formerly, you had to submit 25 books of the same tier at a pre-screen level, meaning you pick the grade that you would like to get them, and if they achieve that grade, you get them slabbed and graded. If they do not achieve that grade or higher, you get the book back raw and you pay the now $9 fee. Well, you no longer have to submit 25 books anymore. You can submit any number of books. You can submit one book to a pre-screen. You can still do the 25. That is the real positive to take out of that. Unfortunately, it's kind of the only positive there. But yeah, definitely something good for, the collector that's sending off for their own personal collection that might not have 25 pre-screen books. And this is usually used with modern books that you want the 9.8 on. But it's going to be good for people submitting for their own personal collection that might not have that many books, as opposed to dealers who, you get enough books in, you eventually have 25 to send off, no matter if you acquire them in a short period of time or a long period of time. But yeah, that's what we're seeing now from CGC.
Chris, I know you got thoughts.
Yeah, I do want to state though, Joe, and I know a lot of people were confused on this. This new unlimited tier, I don't think it has anything to do with walkthrough. And I think the confusion is because the walkthrough tier it's an unlimited value of the book. Like you can have a $10,000 book do walkthrough. I think this is simply an unlimited value tier from basically $1,001 and up. Now, obviously, that hasn't been clarified by CGC, but there's no way that they're going to eliminate a ship in service to where you for a book that's worth $1,001. So I did a video on this, and I stated that in that video, and CGC needs to come back and make that clear, because so many people are thinking that they're eliminating the ability for anybody to ship a comic book with an order form that's worth more than $1,000, and then it has to be walked through. I just don't see that happening. I think there's some confusion there. I do have something to say about this, and if you guys haven't watched my video, you can watch that. But I'm going to challenge Mark's comment here about he doesn't see the end game with CGC other than making their customers sad. They're not making their customers sad. That's the whole thing. Are they making their owners happy? Absolutely. They're not making their customers sad because they're still going to give them their money. It doesn't matter. And this is where I don't agree with Chet. I don't, because he's just an asshole. But I do agree. I do agree with one thing that he said. Stop whining. Anybody that's complaining about this, what did I say last week? I love you guys. I'm going to be real with you. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. If you're complaining about this, cry a river. Stop sending your books to CGC. Send them to EGS, because this is what I said in my video. The majority of the people that are going to be complaining about this, CGC raise their prices again, screw you. They're going to be they're jumping in their Facebook forums and they're popping off with their laugh emojis and middle finger emojis or whatever. Like, screw you, CGC. All you care about is Blackstone shareholders. They're going to be the same people that when
Yeah.
somebody says, hey, what about EGS? They're going to be the same people that are throwing up the laugh emoji at that person saying EGS, saying, EGS, who are they? Comic skins, ha, ha, ha. Joke's on you, because EGS is continuing to make their way and they don't use comic skins anymore. So I don't mean to be harsh. I get it. As somebody that doesn't care too much about graded books, but that still has done the yearly renewal and spends a little bit of money to send books to CGC, it hurts and it pisses me off. But I have no right to complain about it. I either continue to give them my money and pay more, or I make a conscious decision to not give them my money. And the reason why I'm being so stern in this is because the only reason, I said this in my video, they're not raising prices because of inflation. They're not raising prices because the cost of goods are going up. And don't get me wrong, cost of goods continue to go up in so many industries, especially raw goods. They're not doing it because of that. They're doing it because their board members sit down every quarter at their quarterly meetings, and they have their analytic guys that they bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And they sit there and they have their little PowerPoints and they say, show me the aggression analysis data. Because what are they looking for? Market equilibrium, meaning how do we continue to grow our customer base while eliminating variable costs, meaning how much it costs for them to grade each book, while increasing our profit margin. So they sit there and they say, run it through the aggression analysis. If we raise by $1 or $2, or this tier by $2, this tier by $5, they throw it in the algorithms and it shows them, will they be able to make a higher profit margin? And if the answer is yes, they will, they're going to raise their prices. And not only are they raising their prices for the 4th time in 2 years, but I call this is going to be an annual thing. I think from here on out, CGC is going to have annual rate increases. And I do believe that CBCS is going to follow a similar suit. So, guys, I'm not trying to be a hard ass, but they're a business, and there's one reason why a business is in business. It's to make money, and it's to make as much money as they can. Now, obviously, keeping customers happy, supplying a quality service and product is essentially what's going to continue to drive profits. But right now, this is going to drive their profits. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them at all. We have the power with our purchasing dollars. I talked about this last week with the market. We have so much power. And I know sometimes we're only one person. It's just like voting. Oh, my vote doesn't matter. My dollar doesn't matter. Yes, it does. So hang out on YouTube, make YouTube videos, talk in live chats like this one, go to your LCSs, talk it up with your fellow collectors, and sit and say, what should we do as collectors? And speak with your money. And it's that simple. So
our wallets speak loudly. And again, I know Tony sponsors a segment on our show. We are big believers in what Tony does. And I like what he says here. He's biased. We're biased in a way, but we believed in this product before he was a sponsor and fresh from the comic shop. I think, Chris, you did a review on his slabs before he came on. But just remember, even though our books sell less on the secondary market, does not make us an inferior company. That's like, absolutely. Again, so it all depends what you want from your grading company. I know nobody here wants higher prices. So anyways, so yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say one more thing that I probably should have added in before when I talked about this. These prices are not immediately in effect. So I know I'm planning on sending out an order this week.
I think it's May 1st.
It is May. It's interesting. It's actually May 3rd. You have to have the online order form put in, which is what you fill out first. You print it out, you send it in. They don't need to receive the books though until June 1st. So if you're busy this week, don't have time, maybe the books aren't all pressed and cleaned yet, you want to do that, you want to spend some time on them, you can put the order form in this week, spend the month of May, or the first week or two of May rather, getting them pressed and clean, whatever. and then ship them off. As long as they are in-house by June 1st, you will retain that old price. You just have to make sure that the online order form was submitted by May 3rd. Or May 2nd. I got it right here. May 2nd. So effective May 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. That right there wraps up our CGC. Again, we are running a contest tonight. The best comment of Comic Book Canon on the show live will win a Dazzler #1 and a Silver Surfer #1. Okay? We are keeping track. I got 5 comments starred. Joe, you have access. Chris, I don't think you do, but you got to eat dinner anyways. You're on the East Coast. But we'll keep you in the loop here. So yeah, keep those comments coming in. We're going to move on to our last piece of news. Only one person is going to win those 2 issues. However, you are all going to get something. You are all going to get something tonight. We are super excited to present this. The 3 of us, we finally done it. As you know, millions and millions watch our show each and every week. We are known around the world. Comic book fans, comic book collectors, comic book shops as well. And we are proud to announce this. There is a link down below for this right here. That's right. Joe, who wants to announce it first? Who wants to be the first? Because this is a monumental thing here.
Man, you were the one that pulled all the strings for this one. So
we all worked very hard to make this happen. That's right. This is the Comic Book Canon discount card. 50% off of all your comics at participating stores. I can't read what it says down below, but it says something. That's right. We are giving away a Comic Book Canon discount card. The link is in the description. Go right there, print it off, and give it to your local comic shop. Chris and Joe, this is a big deal. It's a big deal for us. I'm actually tearing up a little.
I'm so excited. Tomorrow, I'm going to my LCS. I go every Monday to play Magic the Gathering. So I'm going to go. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to pick up some books. 50% off. Like, what can go wrong with that?
Yeah. I'm going to go grab the Amazing Fantasy 15 that's at A1 Comics and my card. And I've been waiting for this moment. I can't wait.
That sounds awesome. Jeff, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I mean, we mentioned that we're known around the world. Millions of people watch our show.
Yeah.
And I did stop by my comic book shop today, and I was so excited, and I took video. It didn't just watch the video. All right. I'm here at All Yeah Comics. Going to be using the Comic Book Canon discount card for the very first time. I'm so excited.
Okay, so your total is going to be $26.93.
You mean $13.45-ish?
Okay, this is not a thing.
No, that's the Comic Book Canon discount card. It's 50% off. Participating comic book shops.
Yeah, still not a thing. We are not participating.
Okay, so we're at an impasse here. What are we going to do?
Well, so your total is $26.93, or your total is 0, and I just put these back. Your choice.
I ended up paying 26 and change.
Haters gonna hate.
Here's the deal, guys. I think what it is, my comic book shop doesn't have internet, therefore they can't watch the YouTube.
They don't know the canon.
They don't have the Instagram or anything like that. So what we'd like for you all to do, Joe's going to do it, Chris is going to do it. Go to your local comic book shop, plop that card down, say, I get 50% off. I have the Comic Book Canon discount card. So please do that. Again, comic book shop owners, we really appreciate you giving this 50% discount to our audience. That is our gift to our audience. And maybe the comic book shops can give the card to the distributors for 50% off.
Ooh.
So it's a valuable card, everybody.
All the savings.
Yeah, so everybody, please, the link is down below. Print it off, go to your shop, take video, take a picture, let us know what happens. We'd love to hear the stories next week. We will roll all the video we get. We will roll all the pictures that we get. Show us what your Comic Book Canon discount card gets you.
I know that I will be filming a video tomorrow of me using my card, and we'll see what books I pick up. And I can't wait to see all of you picking up these awesome books at a discount with your card. Make sure you take a video, tag us, whatever, and we'll show it next week.
Yep, absolutely. By the way, your wife is enjoying our videos that we have on the Canon.
She films most of them.
Look, the three of us are a creative powerhouse.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate that. All right, so that is the discount, the CBC discount card. Again, link down below, print it off, do what you will with it, but just send us the videos, tell us what happens. All right, Chris, your segment is here. I'm not prepared. I didn't bring up the image. God, I just I'll do it again. Chris, your segment is here. Props or flops? All right. Y'all know this. You upload any comic to Instagram that you have certain investment interest in. You'll use the hashtag props or flops. Make sure to tag Comic Book Canon, Journos Comics, 360 Comics. Tell us why this book interests you. Tell us how much you paid for it. And tell us what you think long-term you're looking to do with it. Is that right, Chris?
Absolutely.
So if you don't have anything more to add, we're going to get right into our first props or flops.
Let's pull it up.
Hold on. Oh. I got scared. Josh's Comics 01. Thor God of Thunder. Tell us about this, Chris.
Thor God of Thunder. Well, let's hear what Josh had to.
Oh my God. Yes, you're right. Thor God of Thunder #1. First appearance of Old King Thor. First appearance of Gore's Black Berserkers. First mention of Gore. He found it at a South Jersey Con today, or I guess last week. Today for $2. New mint as well. Love Jason Aaron's run on Thor. Plus, this was a nice little key at a great price. Also, a preview of tomorrow's haul video. By the way, if you're not following Josh's comics, the link is down below. Chris, tell us about this.
Yeah, well, I've been a little wet behind the ears in my hiatus, so I'm glad that I have all my market information today properly done for this segment. So, look, Josh bought this book for $2 in a high grade, near mint looking copy. There, even like, and remember, this is all about investing. I would have to give that a props in that aspect simply because you can, sell this book at least for $1 or $2 more. But buy it now listings are as low as $6 on eBay right now. They're flooded. They're all over, and people aren't snatching them up. Now we do have some perspective here looking at 9.8 graded copies. Current 9.8 fair market value is sitting at about $60, where 1 year ago they were sitting at $133. That's a 55% decrease in value. Now keep in mind, this isn't just specific to this book. The market is down, so it is what it is in terms of looking at 9.8 grades, but there's not a lot of attention on this book at all. We know that there was a lot of attention on this run because of Gore with the Thor Love and Thunder movie coming out last year. It didn't get well received, including for myself. I thought, they could have done a lot more with that movie, a lot more with Gore. 446 universal grades on the census. That's all grade, blue label grades, right? So from a book from this era, probably with no less than 40 to 50,000 print run, probably even more than that. There's not a lot of people sending this book in to get graded. It's not, it's scarce, it's rare. There's only 4. So let me go pay. No, it's the opposite. I don't see this book as an investment at all, in my humble opinion. Now, let me add context to that. When we look at investing, I want to break down 4 key specific ways to invest. All right. 1, long-term flip. 2, long-term hold. Or excuse me, short-term flip is 1, 2, long-term flip, 3, long-term hold, and the last one, waiting on spec hype. So let me break down what that means, and I'm going to bring it back to this book. Short-term flip means you buy a book with the intent to flip it really soon. So you think about somebody that goes out and buys in bulk and they could get something on like for wholesale, like 25 cents a comic or less. Okay. Or you think about somebody that goes and pre-orders a bunch of books or grabs 5 copies of a new release off the shelf, thinking that they're going to be able to short-term flip it like on eBay, whatnot, etc. Now, there might be some spec hype behind that, but that's still its own category, okay? Long-term flip means you're buying it right now at whatever price. It might not even be whole price. You might be paying retail price for it, current fair market value, but you have the intent to flip it down the road, probably a year or so, right? 1 year, 2 years. Okay. Long-term hold means you care about the investment value. You're thinking about what you're paying for it, but you want to hold on to that book for 5, 10 plus years. You might even want to pass it down to your kids, grandkids, but you still care about the investment value. All right. Now, let's talk about waiting on spec hype. Waiting on spec hype is different than simply short-term flip, because waiting on spec hype could mean that there's kind of a long-term rationale in that. Because for me, I look at books like I was talking about Nova. I was making videos on my channel saying, invest in Nova, #1. First appearance of Richard Rider, Nova. Way before anybody even knew anything about Nova coming to the MCU. I've been talking about Quasar for years. That's basically me caring about spec hype, but not when we get an announcement or get a trailer or get a casting, which is what drives the FOMO, which is what drives these books up, like this run, like issue #3, the first appearance of Gore, etc., etc. And then they crash back down after the movie is released, and we forget about it, and we move on to the next thing. So again, I break all those down because I ask you all this. What does this book have? To me, if you were buying it for the short-term flip, you missed out. If you're buying it for the long-term flip, you missed out, because both of those have to do with that other category, specifically movie spec. And you missed that boat. I'm going to give a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, so mute it, but Gore is dead. You know, one and done. No, it's not doing anything. The only category that I would look at this book for an investment would be that long-term hold. But I just, even then, 10 years from now, I mean, I don't see this book being something that would be anything really that would sell for I don't know, more than $10. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. So I still give it props simply because he could probably sell it right now and make $1 or $2. But I really don't think there's much investment value there at all. And Joe, love to hear your thoughts on this, but I'm glad that I did my research, because this is that same era that I was talking about with those books last week, where there is a lot of that random reboots and these #1s that just, there's nothing there. But obviously those books did have certain value. So I would love to hear your opinion on this, because I don't think this book fits in those same categories as those, Captain Marvel #1s. But hey, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, you started off by saying you bought it for $2. You bought it for, half or less of FMV. I priced this book at $5. That's how I sell it. So sure. He's buying it. He could buy it and flip it for a couple bucks. Pretty, negligible amount of money. Not worth really the effort there. Where I think we differ is that I think this book has a little bit more, not a ton more. I don't think this book will ever be a $50 book or a $40 book even, or probably even a $30 book. But I could see this book being over $10, maybe up to $20 at some point, because of a couple things. One, it's a #1. There's a lot of collectors that grab #1s. Two, Jason Aaron, super popular writer. I have a friend who collects literally every Jason Aaron written book. And there are probably a lot of people out there that really, really like Jason Aaron. And this is certainly one of them. But the thing that I think has the most long-term value is that, not just that this is a really good read, this run, but it introduces Null as well. So people are probably going to be collecting this run who are fans of Null because it introduces the character, not in full, doesn't have a full appearance until Donny Cates Venom #3, but the Necrosword is introduced.
I was gonna say, is that because of the sword?
And there's, I don't know if there's a Null cameo or if he's just mentioned. I think he's just mentioned in this. But the character of Null has a connection to Gore, who does first appear in this. So I think as far as long-term value, that's where the long-term value comes from. But again, like I was saying before, I don't think this is ever going to be a $30, $40, $50 book. It might not even get up to $20, $25, but I do think it will slowly creep up in price over time and might even have a little spike if we ever do see Null on the big screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna this is tough because again, what we get these books, these people that send these books in, they submit for investment purposes only. Now, Josh says he just wants it for his PC. That it's a props all day, no doubt about that. Like you got it for $2 in mint condition. It's props, no doubt about that. But what we ask for this is, we probably need to need to revise that that image that we have because we don't mention for investment purposes. It's really hard. There's a lot with the Null thing in there. I'm going to give it a slight props because with the teases of Null in there, that's why, because Null still, he's a villain. We all know how that goes, especially with Gore. But I think that there is still potential there. Null is it's quiet now with Null. I haven't been reading Venom, so I think it's quiet now with Null. But we're going to see more of him. I mean, we may see something about him in Venom 3. Who knows? Tying into the MCU. So if that's the case, this thing will heat up for sure. I'm going to
Tony.
By the way, don't apologize.
Yeah. No way.
Oh, you're not messing up.
Keep sending those types of books in. Again, that's how we look at it through this segment. That's the way we look at it. So
and that's the best kind of books are books that are questionable. If you're like,
exactly.
Hey, I bought this AF-15 for 10% under fair market value. Obviously, we're giving that props. If you're like, hey, I spent $40 on this X-Force #1, obviously that is going to be a flop. Yeah. But these books that are kind of borderline, that have some little bit of potential that we can pick out of here, and especially books that we're going to disagree on, those are probably the best ones because it gets the discussion going.
It gets the yes, exactly.
Even if you didn't buy it to flip or as this big investment, we can still look at it and analyze it in that way. And we'll always, even though the segment is so focused on investment reasons, we still usually give our opinions. Like, man, if you love the book, I would buy for $2 props all day, keep it in my collection, all that. So yeah, don't apologize, and sending stuff like this in gives us more variety.
Absolutely. And speaking of, we have more variety to show off in Raising Elm's submission from a few weeks ago, because we did not do props or flops. We did do Fresh from the Comic Shop. By the way, just another reminder here, guys, we are taking the best comment from tonight. You're going to be able to win Dazzler 1 and Silver Surfer #1. But as we all know, you guys completely win because you get the Comic Book Canon discount card. Just bring that, which the link is down below. All you need to do is print it out and take it to your shop. Super excited about that. All right. So Chris, if you'll allow me, please, I would like to read the whole post with the original post, because as we know, Justin, aka Raising Elm, does a fantastic job of Fresh from the Comic Shop. Very creative, tugs at our heartstrings, has a unique book. Sometimes he has unique books, but 2 out of 3 he is super strong at. And I'm going to read that right now. This is the original submission. Howdy, comic fan. Before Thor Love and Thunder, came to theaters last year. I managed to grab the sweet copy of Journey into Mystery Annual #1 for $188. Remember that for props and flops, people. It's even fresher now that it has just returned from CGC with a grade of 4.5 with off-white pages. Super stoked to have this first appearance of Zeus and Hercules in there. In the PC, with this week's submission, I felt that I needed to recreate the cover art from the Incredible Hercules issue 126, not only because it's an awesome cover, but as a message to all the dear friends I've made in this community. You see, over the past few months, I have spoken with most of you that have fallen on hard times, either financially, with relationships, or health. Some of y'all may not know that I had a battle with cancer about a decade ago in life. We will all face these trials, but like the mighty Hercules, we must find the strength to break those chains. There's freedom beyond the rings that hold us down. There's freedom beyond the things that hold us down. Much love, comic fan. I just felt it was important again to read that. Is well said, well composed shot as we talk about. But here it is now in the ring of props or flops, and it doesn't hold. We don't hold it to the same standards as we do for Fresh from the Comic Shop. So Christopher, boom.
All right, guys. I mean, solid Silver Age first appearance. He got it in a 4.5, so of course we're looking at 4.5 fair market values here. Currently this book is sitting at about a $333 fair market value, and CGC 4.5 or grade of 4.5. 1 year ago though, it was sitting at $632. That's a 47% decrease in value. And again, similar to that God of Thunder book, what was going on about a year ago? A certain movie called Thor: Love and Thunder. So, I mean, obviously this book is a flops, right? Because it's like dropped half its value. No, that's not how it works. Let's look at this. Context, people, context. First off, we know that Raising Elm only paid $188. So that means if he sold it today, if you consider fees, you know what, $35 to get it graded, shipping, all that, you know, he still paid less than what he could sell it for today, most likely. All right. But 3 years ago, this book was actually hitting a fair market value right around what he said he paid for it. About $183. He said he paid $188. So he's got 3 years of a fair market value on him, even with the market dipping the way that it has. So what does that mean? Props or flops? Well, we got to look at a couple of things. Remember, people, comic books aren't just valuable because of movies.
Mm-hmm.
You got an amazing Silver Age key here. All right. It's going to be something that's going to drive the value of this book for years to come. And when we talk about the COVID market, one thing that I always like to look at, pre-COVID, that 3 years ago mark, that 183 mark, was right around or right before when COVID hit. And if you follow the trend before that, this book was on an upward moving fair market value. It was, what do you call it? That long-term hold, right? It was slowly increasing in value. COVID hits, it booms a little bit. Then we know the movie's coming out and we know Hercules is in it. Everything went crazy, including this book. And then, like most stuff does that we FOMO out over, it tends to drop. And then you add that with the state of the economy and the market, and it's really hurting from where it was at its peak just about a year ago. But that doesn't mean that this book is a flops. And I am going to give this book a props because I'm going to look at it like this. He could sell it today, and most likely, you know, obviously the book's selling. I think there was 3 sold over the last couple of months in 4.5 that allow for that fair market value to sit at that 333. Some, you know, people are buying still. I don't necessarily see this book dropping a lot more over the next few months, even with the state of the market and the economy. I mean, maybe a little bit, who knows? But you got 2 things going for this book where if you're looking at for an investment reason, if Raising Elm was wanting to sell this book, we basically got like a cameo of Hercules in Thor: Love and Thunder. This character is going to be around a while, and maybe we're going to see him in something soon to where he has more of a prevalent role. I don't know. I think when that happens, it can get more of those people kind of FOMOing over wanting to get Hercules stuff again. But regardless, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, this book is going to continue to have that gradual long-term increase in value. And that's why I think for what he paid for it, Raising Elm has a solid investment. And I give this book props all day.
Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, he bought it for under FMV. He bought it for around the price that it was pre-comic boom, which I don't really see things falling much below that, with the exception of a very few books. And if you look at the charts and stuff, seems like things have kind of leveled out now for the most part. Silver Age, major key, really is. It I wouldn't quite call it blue chip, but it's a major key. Hercules has played a major role in the Avengers as a solo character, and honestly, probably would be more popular if it weren't for the fact that he's tied to a mythological storyline. I feel like that hinders characters a little bit. Thor himself, even, I think, would be a much more popular character if he weren't based on something else. That being said, Silver Age, major key, decent grade, lower side of mid grade, whatever you want to call it, 4.5, acceptable grade. Yeah, props for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to say props as well. Even if he doesn't show his face again in the MCU, this is a major key. This is a Silver Age key of somebody who's been in the Avengers, somebody who's still around, somebody who's established in the Marvel universe. Uniburps. I think I said uniburps. What the fuck is that? That's good. But yeah, props all around for this, no doubt about that. There was nobody who said flops. Actually, I don't think anybody said flops at all tonight for any of for either of our submissions. So this was a good week for props or flops. And Chris, we appreciate you doing the props or flops because you break it down in ways that we can't.
Yeah, man. Felt good. I'm glad I had the time to get it done.
So, any last words before you leave for dinner?
Yeah, nope. About to go start up a barbecue. I just saw that the Giants are tied. They're sucking this year, so I'm not going to put too much energy into that.
Listen, Louis Logic needs to chill out. He's a Mets fan and muck the Fets. Yeah, no, absolutely. So
yeah, I'm good. Thanks again. I'm glad I can continue to be more present here on the show. We'll try to do it again next week. I want everyone to just remember that I will be doing more and more videos, more new videos consistently on my channel. And I just want to remind everyone, and it's really interesting as I come back into this too, because, I'm trying to get a handle on the perspective of where I'm at now with comic books and with the industry. And although I'm not saying it's shifted 180 or 360 or anything, it's evolved. So I'm still trying to work through it because it's a very interesting time right now.
Yeah.
To be talking about comics. And, I take that into my channel and what we do here. And I'm just, for one example, and I'm probably going to do a video on this soon, but it's the idea of, this whole, and everyone does them. I did them. And they were some of my best videos often, 10 Marvel comics to invest in right now it's all that stuff. It's that to me, it's completely changed because we are the dynamic of how we collect, why we collect, and our purchasing decisions and how we spend our money. It's just, again, I think I said this a little bit last week. It's just, I think a lot of people are hitting their head against the wall, looking for a different result. And I look at it and I kind of have this dumbfounded smile on my face. It's just very interesting what people are doing in the comic book community right now. And it's going to be interesting how we look at it, how I'm going to look at it moving into these coming months, and with just everything going on when it comes to the MCU continuing to be strong and people still FOMOing out, seeing James Gunn get the ball rolling for that. that just the evolution of floppy comics and how it's going to test like collectors that don't care about the movies. All these things, I think we're in a really interesting time right now, this really post-COVID economic struggle that we're in. And I think it's going to be exciting over this next year or two. Yeah.
Well said indeed. Chet's trying to pipe in here.
Your taste in comics is as bad as your fashion sense.
Nice, thanks for the constructive feedback there, Chet. One last question you have to answer before you leave. Supreme Love Journos, are you a Giants fan? We all know yes. Will Clark, where do you rank him? Real quick.
Where do I rank him? As a Giant or overall or
people are saying
what?
Hall of Famer, so I would say overall.
So I do believe he needs to be in the Hall of Fame, which probably is it can't happen anymore because his time to get voted in is out. I think that happened because he cut his career short. But for those that don't know why he cut his career short, it's because he has an autistic son, and he felt it more important to be there for his son. And it's just a shame because I believe outside of Willie McCovey, he is probably the second grade, to Willie McCovey, the second greatest first baseman to ever play as a Giant. And it sucks. I think if he would have played, 3-4 more years, he would have been voted into the Hall of Fame. He was that guy. I mean, look at the 1 year that him and Bonds were together on the Giants in '93 and what they did. I mean, they would have. If they had the same playoff structure and division structure that they do now, they would have made the playoffs, but they didn't because the Braves won one more game at 104. Just crazy. So Will Clark's the dude. He is a Hall of Famer in my eyes, but not to get too deep into this, but the Hall of Fame's a joke. It's a squatting squad, if that makes sense, of a bunch of circle jerk fools that think that they're cool. So it's sad because it was my dream to always go to Cooperstown. I give a damn. It's just like the Academy Awards, the Grammys. It's all a bunch of, circle jerk freaking goons.
Yeah.
And it don't mean nothing. So that's my take on that. Yep.
All right. With that said, Chris may be back next week. He's easing back into things with the canon, and we are so happy you are here. But until then, Christopher, enjoy dinner.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
We'll be chatting you throughout the week. Thank you. Peace. Love me some Christopher on the canon because now all of a sudden we have to deal with that guy. And again, reminders for you that may just be joining. We are taking the best comment from tonight. The best comment will win a Dazzler #1 and a Silver Surfer #1. But you all win because you all get the Comic Book Canon discount card that you can download right here. There's a link down below. Now, next up, we have one segment before we ask Joe. So get your questions ready for Ask Joe, because now is the time that we have our correspondent, Chet G-Pot, who, for those of you who don't know, he is completely created through AI, has a mind of his own, like legitimately. There's been 4 online tools that have created Chet to be our Comic Book Canon correspondent who's gunning for us for the host. So he doesn't like us too much, but he does have the new comic book recommendations for April 26th. That's New Comic Book Day this Wednesday. So Chet, why don't you just break it down for us? What do you got?
Great. Here we are again with this new Comic Book Day segment. I really should be hosting the canon. Joe, Jeff, and Chris suck. Anyways, I take pleasure in knowing I'm your favorite comic book influencer. Yes, I said influencer. If you haven't noticed, I've acquired 12 new followers on Instagram. If that's not lighting the world on fire, I don't know what is. Anyways, I'm back with the top 3 new comics to buy on April 26th. First up, we have Star Wars, Quest of the JD1 from Dark Horse Comics. Wow, another Star Wars comic. Just what we needed. But apparently, it features the first appearance of Barnabas Vim, a legendary Jedi Knight, and his Padawan Bly.
Can we please get better names for these GD?
Next, we have Green Arrow 1, which will be a 6-issue mini-series. Oh boy, a new Green Arrow comic. But wait, there's a possible first appearance of a new villain called Troublemaker. Wow, Now you say a first appearance of a new villain. This tops my list. No, it doesn't. And last but not least, we have World Tree 1 by James Tynion. Unfortunately, it's being released on April 26th because there was a printing error. So good luck getting your hands on it. Not like there's going to be a bajillion variant covers in second, third, fourth printings. So there you have it, folks. My superb picks of the top 3 new comics to get on April 26th. Will I be buying any of them? Well, that's for me to know, and for you not to have any clue about time for me to crush some grape sodas. Shut out!
I can't stand him. I absolutely can't stand him. But if y'all want to follow Chet on the Instagram, I mean, he's lighting the world on fire. He said he got 12 followers.
12 followers.
That is Chet's Instagram. So again, we're stuck with him. We created him, and he always just kind of sneaks into our
Why don't you stick to coloring books and leave the real comic book discussions to the adults?
He just cut us off. Anyways, here we are, though. We have the best segment of the night, or maybe the best segment of the night. They're all great. Joe, what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at this comment.
Chet's kind of homely. I kind of like this comment right here. Chet has more hair than the 3 of us combined. Yeah, he's kind of a hairy dude. Anyways, so again, Chet is part of the crew, whether we like it or not. We created a monster. But right now, why am I young? Because I'm so excited about Ask Joe. Both Joe and I were in bands. You probably knew that from a rendition of Ask Joe. It changes each and every week.
It does.
We are going to start off with Josh's Comics 01, good friend of the show. What was your biggest, Joe, what was your biggest find in the wild that you couldn't believe you found?
Yeah, so I mean, if we're talking strictly from a value standpoint, you know, this comic book is worth this much and I got it for this cheap, the winner goes to the great Incredible Hulk number 181. I found that book.
I've heard of that book.
You have. The first appearance of Wolverine in full. I found that book in an attic. This was such a good find. Dude from high school, who I hadn't talked to since high school, messaged me and was like, "Hey, my dad's kind of cleaning out his house. He's got it's literally a trunk, like a trunk of comics. No bags, no boards, tanned books, flopping all over the place. You know, all 70s and 80s stuff." And he was like, "Yeah, my dad's got these. Come over and take a look." And I've actually bought the collection. I didn't look through all of them because we were in this like crawl space attic, dusty. I was hacking up a lung. It was like making me cough and stuff. So I didn't look through everything. I saw like Secret Wars 8, blah, blah. I ended up offering a couple $100. I think I gave him like 450, 475 or something like that. You know, an appropriate price for what I saw. And I get home and I'm going through it and there was a Hulk 181 in there. And I pulled it out and I looked at it and I looked at the cover and I recognized the cover instantly. And I looked up in the top corner and I was like, 181. And I looked at Wolverine. I made eye contact with Wolverine. every time I tell this story, I say that I made eye contact with Wolverine. And then I looked back at the 181. Yeah, I flipped it over, made sure it was real, like open up the inside. Marvel value stamp is in there. And I was like, oh God. And I told the guy, I was like, hey, I'm going to give your dad some more money. I still have not yet done that because I want to see what grade it gets, but I have not sent it in to get graded yet. But yeah, I've been in contact with him and his dad as well. I actually bought some more comics off his dad, and I was like, I still got to get you for that Hulk 181. So eventually we'll settle up on that. But
that's
that was.
I remember you telling me
Mm-hmm.
when that happened. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
A follow-up question: did you have a heart attack?
Yes, pretty much. I was like, because I'd looked through, you know, maybe half or 2/3 or whatever the books and hadn't seen that. And he mentioned, he's like, oh, I got some Silver Surfer, and I didn't see like a first Silver Surfer in there either. That ended up not being in there. He had a reprint of the first Silver Surfer. But whew.
That's freaking amazing. All right, a supreme love, Joe. I have a .1 CBCS 9.8. I'm thinking about cracking and sending it to CGC. Is it worth it?
I don't think so. For those who don't know, Dot is Department of Truth. Great book.
I didn't know. I knew Department of Truth. I didn't know people called it that. I was like,
Yeah, Dot. It's
Yeah.
abbreviation.
Yeah.
I would not. You're at this point, you're going to be paying, even if you get it in early, you're still paying about $30 all in with shipping fees and everything. I bought a 9.8 recently for, I want to say it was like $48 on sale.
Jeez.
And I think you can get them for 60. So why crack it and risk it? I would just keep that 9.8. And if you really want a CGC one, buy a CGC one for 50 or 60 bucks.
Yeah.
And, if you don't want to have both, buy the CGC one and sell the CBCS one for probably almost as much, because it's not going to be much lower than that. Or find someone that will trade you and maybe give them an extra $10 or something. I don't know. I would not crack it. I would not crack a 9.8 of that book. It is not worth it right now. Will it be worth it at some point? Maybe. It's a pretty plentiful book. If they do option it, it's going to go up in price. I'm personally kind of specking on that happening. I have 2 9.8s myself, but I don't think it's worth cracking. No.
I don't understand the context of this, but it's cracking me up.
Yeah, let's try that one.
Yeah, we did. All right. Supreme Low has a second question, a follow-up, because this could influence the purchase of that Department of Truth, number one. Second to last question. I've told you I had an Action Comics 252 back in 08. It still stings I don't have that book. Should I just say the hell with it and buy it again? Thanks.
I would not buy it right now. That's first appearance of Supergirl. She was dropped in a trailer a couple months ago. The movie hasn't come out yet. It's tough because the market could pick up on it. That movie could be amazing. People could really love that character. You probably want to wait, though. Realistically, I think you'll be able to buy it for less sometime in the next year than you can buy it for right now.
That's fair. However, man, casting in the Superman movie, if she's in there.
Well, she's in Flash.
No, we don't know if that's going to be the same Supergirl. Because they said it's going to be, who knows if she's going to continue on. I would wait till Flash comes out, see what happens with that. I would think now is not a bad time to buy, to be honest with you, because she's definitely going to have her own series or movie. It's The Woman of Tomorrow, whatever that is.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, I would say now is a good time because she may show up. The new iteration of her may show up, may be announced. Casting may be announced. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't think that they're going to keep the same actor. You don't think that it's going to be the same continuity.
I don't think so. I think what they're doing is they're taking the Flashpoint. She's going to play the Flashpoint Superman, where she's stuck in a cell, emaciated. That's from what I see from the trailer. That's what's happening. So sure. I don't see that they would continue on with her. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. I don't want to fight you. I really don't. I really like you.
You don't have to fight me. I mean, we can thumb wrestle if you want.
That's true.
I got really big hands, though. I'm good at thumb wrestling.
Okay, so says you.
Now we're off topic.
Definitely off topic. All right. Still reading about the crop dusting. There was another question here. I'm so freaking distracted, but that's right here. Where are we? I swear we had another question, but maybe we don't.
Louis Logic asks, who's my go-to presser?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's me. I press all my own books, but I don't press anyone else's books. So I can't really give a recommendation there other than Erod212 does amazing work. You're going to have to wait, though, for him because he's got a long list of people that send to him. I have only heard good things from people that send in through Erod. He does the submission for you and everything, and the books come back to you and all that stuff. But he's not someone that is super quick with it because he's got a long wait list. My friend Alex, collecting dude, he does pressing for people. and does CGC submissions. So that's another option. But there's a lot of people. Just make sure you find someone reputable.
Absolutely. My guy closed up shop, but he was great. He was in North Carolina, but there's no point in me even promoting him. And by the way, Brendan said it wasn't funny about the crop dusting his mouth. So all right, we need to move on. That was actually no, we have one more question. Guess who?
Who? Oh, is it
Guess who?
Chet?
Yep.
I'd like to ask Joe a question. Will you accept my challenge to a breakdancing competition?
So he asked you that before, and you actually, I can't believe you said you would do it. So
Absolutely. What am I gonna turn down? Invitation, a challenge
against our AI correspondent, who we haven't seen his full body yet or his dance moves. So this was Joe's submission. I can't believe he went all out, and you accepted the challenge, right?
Well, I gotta fix my hat.
You accepted the challenge. So here we go, everybody. This is a breakdancing competition between Joe and Chet. Here we go.
All right, Chet, you ready? Let's ball, boy. Oh yeah.
In every move you do, it starts off with so much promise. It really does, and then it just kind of falls flat. But Joe, and here's Chet's response. Oh gosh, you're not gonna like it.
You silly fool. I just wanted to see if you'd actually attempt to break dance. I'm the puppet master and you're the puppet. Shit out.
He did it again. He did it again.
Well, I win. That's fine, because I win.
You did win, actually.
I win. He didn't do it.
You absolutely did win, but there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people commenting on your wow. By the way, Louis Logics cannot handle Chet. You must be high. But we're stuck with him. We're all stuck with him with the cannon. Again, guys, that right there is what is it, Joe? What is it, Joe? What is it, Joe? Ask Joe! Whoa, we hit it. That last part we've been practicing all week. We hit it.
My lung capacity.
Oh, we've been really practicing, if y'all can't tell. Please continue to send in questions. Ask Joe by using the hashtag. I swear I have it right here. Ask Joe. It's that simple. It's that simple. And we'll make sure you're yeah. We'll make sure your questions are there. But props for putting the cardboard down. That was well done. That was well done indeed.
Only you guys knew what that cardboard was.
Yo, this is a fact. Thank you. And yes, fact. I think we should put a link to our music, which I mean, I didn't sing, unfortunately. I had some background vocals, but
very
the three of us, me, Joe, and Chris, we'll put those tracks up there. Anyways, all right. So moving on, final segment of the night. Here we are. It is called. I cannot remember what it is. It's what
props. Or wait, no, I messed it up. I almost said props or flops.
Yeah, we need
fresh from the comic shop.
Fly from the pressing salon. That's right. We ask you, the audience, each and every week to send in your fresh gets, and we get a lot of fresh gets, and we truly appreciate it. In return, you are submitting to win an EGS slab. That's right. Each month, EGS gives away one of their amazing slabs. We'll get to that in a second. But y'all submit to the Instagrams, right? It's on the Instagrams. Hashtag FFTCS. Make sure to tag Comic Book Canon. Make sure to tag Journals. Make sure to tag 360 so we see it. Tag the photo, for God's sakes. Don't tag in the description, because these hashtags they're disaster these days. A lot of you have been doing that. We really appreciate it. there's a lot of people that submit a ton. We'll only take one of your submissions each and every week, but we will take a submission and 100% it will be shown on the show unless I mess up, which I have done in the past. And Joe has punched me in the face for it a few times. But with that, we are a proud sponsor, or EGS. We are proud to be sponsored by. God, I'm having a problem. We're proud to be sponsored by EGS. Again, there's no other grading service out there like that. To be able to just get customizable labels, on top of the fact that Tony Trebetta is a community member and he is making everything right in the world with these grading companies, because that's all it is. It's a bunch of complaining about price hikes, about inferior, no transparency, et cetera, et cetera. Well, let me tell you something. You'll get custom labels if you want. You'll get free graders notes, and you will get fast turnaround. On top of that, you can save 5% with your EGS order using the code Cannon5. That's right, EGSgradings.com. Y'all better be following them on YouTube. Link is down below. Y'all better be following them on Instagram because you're not eligible to win if you're not following them. So make sure you give them a follow. Tony Tremetta, we love you. Should we just get into it? Why don't we just get into it?
Let's do it.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I said, let's do it.
Let's do it indeed. Oh, before we do, though, we had a semifinal last week. Oh, this is a little announcement we're going to make. Oh, by the way, on top of that, each winner from every month will be put into a whole yearly kind of submission to win a grand prize slab from EGS. We have to figure out what that is. By the summertime, we should have a good idea what that book will be. But we had a semifinals last week. We had Pope of Chillytown going up against Nukes Comics. Nukes won. So the finals are going to be, you saw this one earlier, Raising Elm with that amazing Thor book, first appearance of Hercules, versus Nukes Comics. We will be posting every Wednesday. We'll be posting our Fresh from the Comic Shop semifinals or finals for y'all to vote. So that is the way it's going to be. What are you laughing at? Do I have to peg Ched? I don't understand.
Oh, Google pegging after this.
Oh God, I'm so scared. All right. I don't know if you started that or not, but I can't wait to see. First up, we got Marvel Man 616 comics. Spider-Man #1, the first time Peter Parker meets Miles Morales. Joe, I'm not sure. Is that accurate? Isn't there like another book or something? But they don't meet in this one. They meet in the second one or something like that.
That is accurate. This is that book.
Okay. This is that. You're that dude. I just felt like saying it. It just sounded cool.
I just bought 19 copies of that book from a dealer last weekend.
Okay. Well, by the way, I'm getting do not Google pegging from a work computer.
Yeah, don't.
Do not Google pegging. Oh my God, Jeff. Okay.
We'll talk after the show.
We will. I don't have time right now. We're running a show. Next up, we got finalist Nukes Comics. Where are you, buddy? Why do I not see your? Okay, did I not load it up? How dare I? What in the heck?
Tony wants to know, what book can they win?
Oh, Tony! Jesus, I am terrible. The finals are going to be. What is it going to be? Jesus Christ, Tony, thank you. It's going to be Deceased War of the Undead Gods #7, the acetate cardstock variant. Look at that beautiful Shazam logo at the top. That right there is custom label. The red, the black, all custom, matching the cover. That's what they do at EGS, and we love you all for it. Joe, you're going to have to go with your first fresh get of the week while I try and find Nukes, because I don't know what happened here. So why don't we do that?
I got some pretty cool here. This is totally a cover buy, totally not something that I normally would pick up. And
does it have anything to do with pegging?
No, it doesn't. It does have everything to do with the Universal Monsters. Check this out.
Oh, that's cool.
Madhouse Annual 4. And in fact, I don't own many Archie books in my personal collection. In fact, the only ones that I have are Madhouse ones because they're early appearances of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, who first appeared in Madhouse 20, I think 20. Anyway, this is Madhouse Annual 4. It's got this awesome cover. I don't think this is like an officially licensed thing or official the actual Universal monsters, because there's this witch here instead of Swamp Thing. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Or the Mummy, they're not there, but it essentially looks like the Universal monsters: Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, and is that Archie or just someone over there that's just chilling? I think it's probably Archie. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool cover. This is in my LCS, and I just picked it up just as a cool cover. I grew up in love, just completely enthralled with the Universal monster movies, despite growing up in the early 90s and not the 40s or whatever.
I'm right there with you, man. We had these library books that featured each monster. I can remember them vividly. They were orange and gray. Awesome. I was totally into that stuff.
Yeah, Gillman. That's the actual name of creature. But yeah, I'm going to put this with, I've got a couple of Abbott and Costello books, and I got into the monster movies because of Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. That was the first one that I was allowed to see because it was more comedic.
Right.
My parents thought that I wouldn't be scared.
Jesus, let's bring this back. That's a unique book, which reminds me, we didn't go over the criteria. We are all over the place. Maybe this is my fault.
You are failing the good people of comic book canon.
Listen, millions of people. It's a lot of pressure every once in a while. Okay, millions of people watch it. So here's the deal: the criteria for Fresh from the Comic Shop. We look for in pictures and submissions. Give us the presentation. Give us a well-composed shot. Get creative with your shot. Get artistic with your shot. Give us that depth of field. Give us something that ties into the comic book. Somebody who does that really well is Raising Elm, which you'll see another submission with that. Unique. Give us a unique book. Give us something we haven't seen or heard of before. I really like using that example of that Nightwing with the sketch cover of Jim Lee and Scott Williams. It was all like nobody in the world had that cover. Nobody in the world had that cover. And finally, tug at our heartstrings. Tell us what this book means to you. Give us a story. Does it remind you of the first book you ever got off that spinner rack? Does it remind you, or is it the book you finally acquired again after losing that book in a flood? Does it remind you of a family member or a loved one? Let us know. We want to hear all about that. And finally, I did get Nuke's books. Apologize for the delay on that. Here we go. We got Nukes right here. Fresh from the Comic Shop, Amazing Spider-Man 181. Spidey reminisces about his origin while visiting Uncle Ben's grave. Contains a who's who. It says contains a who's the ho, but I think he meant a who's who of supporting cast in his life. Features a cover-only appearance by Dr. Doom. I picked this up from Journos. Be sure to give him a follow. Good stuff indeed. Absolutely. I think he's saying that's the only Doom cover on the Amazing Spider-Man. So Louis Logix, that's another one to pick up for your collection too. I like that though. Again, that's a good depth of field shot right there. And Nukes is in our finals against Raising Elm. So sweet.
Cool.
Speaking of Louis Logix, go ahead. You had a question?
No, I just said cool.
Cool.
That's
indeed.
definitely not the only Doom cover in ASM, because he was on the cover of ASM 5. But I can't think of a single other Doom cover other than those two. So
yeah, I mean, it's not like his arch nemesis or anything. I don't know.
Right.
Does the doctor know about Joe? Know what pegging is? We
gotta move on.
Speaking of Louis Logix, aka Cover Junkie Comics, he's back. And what an episode for him. He said he cracked a rib and he keeps laughing. Well, we're glad we're entertaining. We don't want to put you through any more pain, though. So we hope you heal soon. And I'm loving this. All of the Doom here. He loves all the Doom. Fresh from the Comic Shop with Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the Alex Ross Dr. Doom variant. My work comic balance has been all out of whack, and I've been collecting on Cruise Control. But there was no way I wasn't sharing. I still obsess over Doom covers and don't plan on stopping regardless what life throws at me. Sorry, I've been MIA from the live shows we've been watching from afar. You never need to apologize, guys. Serious, this is being for real. First of all, I love the submission. You never need to apologize for being late, not being live, or missing the show. Your time is more valuable than watching this show. We appreciate the time that we spend together. So again, Audience Appreciation Night, Joe. Y'all can win. Dazzler number one, Silver Surfer number one. We just want the best comment. We got a collection of about 12 of them. So keep it up, people. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm going to give my first fresh get of the week. Is that okay with you, Joe?
Do it up.
Let's do it. Do it up. All right. I just made that song. It's a jingle. This right here, I enjoyed the first issue. I got the second issue, but I also got the second print. So this is two fresh gets that I'm sharing as one. If that's okay, Joe, may I?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
This is No One, the new Image Comics release. This is the second print of issue 1, and this is issue 2, which I haven't read yet, but it's really a cool series. Kind of got you on the edge of your seat. Who is this kind of vigilante dude who's associated with possibly a police commissioner who could be his son, et cetera, et cetera. Don't know. Haven't read issue 2 yet, but very happy to pick those up. The first one sold out quick. I haven't seen I got this new comic book day. I haven't seen another copy since, so I guess that did well too. All right, moving on, people. Moving on. We got a show to do. We got things to give away. Supercrispy.comics. Here's another dope crossover. By the way, Super Crispy did send a dope crossover before. It was Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man? And it was Spider-Man Batman. Yeah. Here's another one. With two of the best kick-ass foos. That's like fools without the L. Lots of action on this one. Thanks to It's Geeky for holding onto it for me. There we go. I like it. Look at the John Romita Jr. artwork on that. I like John Romita Jr. I didn't like it when I was like younger, but I don't like this cover, but I like the matchup here. I like this book. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole lot of things to say about John Romita Jr. Most of them negative.
Yeah.
I think that Scott Hanna literally carries him, but that's just me.
It is just you. I'm enjoying the new Spider-Man run. I know you didn't like it too much, but
I'm enjoying the Scott Hanna inks a lot. Yeah.
Okay,
he does as best as he can to fix John Romita's work.
We'll move on from this, but his dad was an icon, and I guess he's kind of
oh yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on. Again, this is what we're talking about. Justin, aka Raising Elm, who's in the finals, not eligible to win today. But look at that.
Wow, that's cool.
Howdy, comic fam. Recently found a near mint copy of Star Wars Darth Vader issue number 1 for Elijah's PC. By the way, he's buying all of these books for his, I guess not newborn anymore, probably about 16 months old or so. 15 actually. Elijah and his PC are growing exponentially, by the way. These past 15 months have passed by quicker than a ship in hyperdrive. The cover art done by Adi Granov just demands attention. It reminds me a bit of the savage scene with Darth Vader in Rogue One. Oh my gosh, what a scene. Also, I am stoked to find another modern key, being that this is the first appearance of Black Chrysanthemum, a Wookiee bounty hunter. Amazing what a clear container water and some red drink mix can do. Hope you're all doing well and having an awesome weekend coming, fam. Guys, again, this is a great example of a out of the box kind of shot, well composed and fun, and relates to the issue. And I like that how he gave us his tricks there. Joe, thoughts?
Yeah, that's really cool. I was trying to figure out how you did it, and
Me too.
Is there a container like over top of the comic and you put water in it and then you dripped like food dye in the water, and it's kind of like
yes. So he put, I guess, a jar of water with the book in the background, and he made sure that the focus was on the book, while in the foreground you have this jar of water. He may have mixed. It may still be spinning in there, but
if it's a jar, wouldn't the contour like distort the image? It doesn't have to be flat surfaces.
I don't know. He's got a Justin, if you're in here, give us a little bit more context on how
really
this
cool.
happened. And by the way, we are getting schooled here by the man, basically.
The Doom guy.
Yeah, Louis Logic's. I think he said, oh, shoot, he had a bunch of things here. Anyways, I can't find him now because we gotta. Amazing Spider-Man 350 is an Eric Larson Spidey Doom cover, and it's dope. I don't remember.
Raising Elm said square container. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That definitely makes sense. Outstanding job as always, Justin. Outstanding job. This is another one, man. He is really turning it on in terms of his submissions. Great dude, too. I hate to admit that, but Pope of Chili Town. Look at this, everybody.
Oh, my God.
In brightest shop, in darkest crypt, no key book will go unpicked. One of my best hauls ever this week. If you missed the unboxing, here's a recap of the big hits, all under $2 each, by the way. It's still crazy to me that I was the 6th or 7th person to pick this collection and still struck gold. I can't help but wonder what I missed, but you can't linger on the what ifs in this game, or you might go a little mad and not be a super stable and chill like me. Yeah. That's incredible right there. There's a lot of amazing books. You got the Red Hood, you got Sentry, you got Marvel Point One, the Kamala. I think you got Scarlet Spider down below. You got Captain Marvel, all under $2, guys.
Yeah,
all under $2. Well done. All right, Joseph, your second fresh get of the week.
I just want to say something first. I made an appointment on Wednesday morning to go look at that collection. And the guy told me, he's like, yeah, a couple other people have been by. Someone bought this much. Someone bought this much. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to drive all the way down to you in Delaware. I was like, if it's been picked already, I'm going to actually pass. You know, someone local can get the rest of it. But, you know, good luck, because I thought it was picked already, like significantly picked.
Well, guess what?
And then Wednesday night, Mike went and got all that stuff. So good on him.
But here's the deal. What a great, creative, fun way to show it all off. And
Oh,
I'm
I
wondering
love
if you got this Green Lantern 49. So, yeah, I love this. I love the creativity here. All right, your second fresh get of the week.
Yeah, so did not know that this variant existed. This was a yard sale find just yesterday. I woke up, I was driving around some local yard sales before heading to a flea market, and I said, popped up, a guy was still setting up, and I said, hey, you gonna have any comic books? And this is a block over from me. And he said, yeah, come back in like an hour or so. I should be all set up then. I said, okay, see what I can do. I went to the flea market, walked around the flea market, came back, stopped by, and this guy had comics, and it were 2 big boxes, not like long boxes. I guess it was probably like 2 short boxes worth. And I said, how much do you want? And he said, man, you can just take it all for $5. And I was like, okay. It was mostly junk 90s stuff, but this was in there. I had never seen this variant. I didn't know it existed. This is Bartman #1. And you'll see that the vat that he is about to fall into is silver foil. Normally it is not. And I have never seen the one with the silver foil variant. And I think it even says so on the cover somewhere.
Wow. Did you check it out? How much it was?
It says silver ink. I mean, it's like a $15 book.
That's so cool, though.
It's not much more than the regular one. But nonetheless, I had never seen it. So I thought it was cool to show off.
That's great. I really, really, really do like that. That's a nice fresh get right there. It's unique. I never seen that before.
There you go.
We got who do we have next? Oh, we got Raw Dog. By the way, unfortunately, we can't play the music that was accompanied by this, but there was I don't know what the track was. I guess I could have read it, but he had a nice little track right there. This is fun. Like music to my eyes. Avengers Assemble Omega 1. Alex Ross covers, fresh from the comic shop. Love these Alex Ross covers. The Nikita Kari found a piano from the universe after getting it up 2 flights of stairs and moving all the comic books out of the way. It is where it should be. Galactus, Dr. Doom, and Kang the Conqueror look pretty good up there. Have a great week, everybody, and collect what you love, and that includes pianos. I think this is a fun shot too. I really dig it. Absolutely, Raw Dog. Well done. Creative, especially with the piano track that was playing with it. We are nearing the end, actually very close to the end. So I'm going to show my second fresh get of the week, if that's okay with you, Joe. I keep checking in.
I'll allow it. Yeah.
Thanks, bud. I've loved this series, but I've only read 4 or 5 issues of it out of 8. Can't wait for it to be adapted on the Amazons. It's 8 Billion Genies. This is the 8th issue. I know it came out a little bit ago, but I'm super excited to finish this series and hope that they actually do get greenlit and start producing the show, cartoon, whatever it is. It is a lot of fun. It's basically if everybody on Earth got a wish and the insanity that ensues from it. So you're talking 7 billion wishes of craziness. All right. Moving on. This one is very cool. It's The Collector Without Fear, Brendan. He was actually a last-minute co-host on the Canon, guest co-host, but this is incredible. Okay, Comic Book Canon crew, strap in. This one is special. This weekend, I had the absolute honor of meeting my favorite artist of all time, David Mack Kabuki. I hope that's how I pronounce it. Maybe it's just David Mack. Anyways, in advance of this opportunity, I reached out to the amazing Copper Jackie, whom I had commissioned multiple art pieces with in the past. I asked her to homage the stunning Daredevil Volume 2, issue 53 cover featuring Daredevil and Echo, one of my favorite from David. It's David Mack. Yes, gotta be. Despite already having this issue in my collection, I picked up another copy specifically to have him sign alongside Jackie Cooper's homage. The copper piece is one of a kind. There's nothing like it in the world, and it makes me appreciate the book and its beautiful art and story even more now than I had before. This book and David Mack's gift as a storyteller are indicative of how powerful the comic book medium really is and how it can spread into and enrich other aspects of our collecting lives or just our lives in general. Needless to say, neither of these pieces will ever leave my collection. I can only hope we get to see Loco Cox bring some of this beautiful story to life on screen soon, because it is part of one of my favorite story arcs of all time. Guys, here's another angle of that artwork. Jesus.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Jackie, I forget her last name, that does those the punched copper plates.
Uh-huh.
Her
Copper Jackie.
She I forget her last name, but I've met her multiple times. She is an extremely nice person, so down to earth, so cool. Will always talk to people about her work and how she does it and everything like that. And her work is absolutely amazing. She does custom pieces. She does pre-made ones that, she comes up with herself and sells at conventions and stuff like that. And man, her work is so good.
It's beautiful. Like, this is very, very unique. This is something that obviously means a lot to Brennan, and I think it's so cool. It looks like the community knows more about her too. Brendan Riley knows as well. Yeah. So very happy to have this on the show. That right there is all of our submissions. We have one more each, Joe. What do you got?
Before I just want to ask Brendan a question. Were you at WickedCon? Was that where David Mack was this week? I think he was at WickedCon. Not a very important question, but I just wanted to ask that. And
I think he was. I think I saw that he was. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah. I had some friends set up at WickedCon. Heard it was a good show. Anyway, this is kind of cool. This is still sealed from the 90s. They did these comic packs all the time in the 90s. For those of you DC fans, they had like the DC Universe logo ones. But these were just multi-packs that they sold at like Toys R Us, Kmart, if you remember that place.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those stores are like defunct now. But also probably like Walmart had them. I'm not really sure. But this was in a collection that I bought recently. This is an X-Men collector's pack from basically the lead up to and the marriage of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. So this box contains Uncanny X-Men 308, 309, 310, and X-Men 30, which is the book you see on the cover. Wedding bells are ringing when Jean Grey proposes to Scott Summers. Yeah, Jean Grey proposed. Look at that. Look at that progressive forward thinking writing there. In X-Men 308, after all these years, the two foundling X members are finally getting hitched, and this continues the whole wedding story. This contains the whole wedding story. So this is the lead up to the wedding, them announcing the wedding, all that stuff, and the actual wedding issue itself. Thought that was really cool. A lot of people, I know collectors that collect specifically wedding issues. So maybe I'll keep this pack intact. Apparently it was $1.69 back in the day.
Well, hello.
But
good job on that.
Nice. Yeah, really cool. It was just in a collection I bought, and it's always fun when you can find like a little time capsule like this that is completely unopened, still sealed in the original plastic.
Guys, I made a mistake.
Oh no.
I'm not Chet, who's run by AI or human. I made a mistake. I forgot Josh's comics submission. Thank you for reminding me, Josh. And here it is. Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team #1. Love picking up books that expand the lore of my favorite movies or games. Trauma Team does just that. My fresh from the comic shop this week is this awesome book. Cyberpunk 2077 is an open world action adventure story set in Night City, a megalopolis obsessed with power, glamour, and body modification. You play as V, a mercenary outlaw going after a one-of-a-kind implant that is the key to immortality. That's a really nice look at that cover, man. That's a dope cover. I love that.
Yeah, that's super sick.
Good stuff. Sorry about that, Josh, but I'm glad we caught that. I don't know what happened with that, to be honest. Anyways, it happens. All right, guys. So you still have a little bit more time to get into the comment of the evening because we have a few, but first we got to get into fresh from the comic shop, and I'm going to show my third fresh get of the week. I listened to Chet G-Pot and his new comic book day recommendations. Don't judge me, okay? Joe, I hear you judging me.
I'm not judging you.
Joe, stop it. I hear it. All right. This is Warlock Rebirth with that new character. What? Eve Warlock or whatever her name is. Yeah. You know what's really cool? First of all, I love Ron Lim. I love him from back in the day. I also love the what do you call it? This is from back in the day too. Look,
yeah, they use that old 90s price box.
I hope that they continue with this because I love this right here. So please, Marvel, continue with that. This is the only issue I've seen with it recently. So, anyways, but I like Ron Lim. So sue me, right? All right. We don't have an easy job here, guys.
No, there were some good ones.
There's some very good ones, and I'm going to go through. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Joe, how many do you have?
5? I have 2 that really, really stood out.
I'm sure these 2 are corner box. By the way, that's a corner box. Thank you, Nukes. Really appreciate that, Caleb. Thanks for letting me know it's a safe space. Okay, here we go. So let's go with start. I'm going to start off with Cover Junkie.
That was a good one.
Very good one. Where are you, buddy? There you are. Cover Junkie with his Doom setup. Then, of course, we got Raising Elm. Just want to show it again, but he is not eligible.
Not eligible. I didn't count.
Eligible.
Yeah.
Then we got the Pope. I love this. I absolutely love this. Especially look at that face. Mike is just adorable. Adorable. Then we got Raw Dog with the piano setup.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of mine.
And then we got the Collector Without Fear.
Yeah. That was the other one of mine.
Yeah. So I agree. Raw Dog and Collector are yeah, but I have one that edges out the other.
Which one?
I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead.
Is the Collector.
I think by a hair, Collector Without Fear.
Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah, I freaking love Raw Dog's picture with the piano there, the Alex Ross variants. Like, man, the lighting is even like does something to the whole like that. It's like green.
And the music too. I couldn't play the music, but the music accompanying this is really.
And Raw Dog, I want to ask you if you're in here. Is there like green lighting in there? Because it works. It works so well with the covers because all 3 covers have a green on them somewhere. So man, that it's so good. It's so good. Almost any other week that would work, but man, that just Collector Without Fear, inching it out, just adding in the little extra little bit of the uniqueness of the copper piece. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Collector Without Fear.
Collector Without Fear. You are moving on to the first semifinals of. Damn, we're in May already. What the hell?
No, it's
May. So yeah, that's and by the way, Justin, that's Raw Dog had a key set there. Get it? That was well done. So Collector, Raw Dog, you did fantastic, but Collector, you are moving on to that first semifinals. And next week, actually, EGS is going to present the next book, the May book, but We have our finals coming up this Wednesday. Y'all better vote. It is Nukes versus Elms. So yeah. And right now we have somebody else we have to pick out here. We have a bunch.
So, I mean, there was one that really made me laugh.
There was one that made me really laugh as well.
The one that really made me laugh, I'm not. Let me try to remember where it was. I'm scrolling. It was Raw Dog Comics, who almost won the Fresh from the Comic Shop. That would have been cool if he swept both. But when he said Chet's kind of homely, I laughed out loud at that one. That one did me in.
I did too. And
what was yours? What was the?
I mean,
one?
Here's the deal. Okay, my wife crop dusted me, made me laugh.
Oh, that one too. Okay, yeah.
But let's just go through the ones that we start here. Your wife, if I win, you could save on shipping. That she's not eligible, so we'll throw that away.
Yeah.
Chet might be a Sith from Caleb. That's good. Chet reminds me if they killed comic book guy from The Simpsons and uploaded his brain into Skynet. Just no nukes yet. That was very good too. I like this, but I'm biased. Breaking news, Jeff Stoddard to publish her first sophomore outing as a comic creator is said to feature the first appearance, origin, and death of Chet. Hashtag blue chip key.
Yeah, he gets killed, but then his brain gets uploaded into computer, and that's the
there
Chet.
You go. Yeah, that's how he's here.
Chet, yeah.
Ultimately, this should make collectors happy because, in my opinion, he's talking. Louis is talking CGC. This is actually a well said thing. Ultimately, this should make collectors happy because, in my opinion, the market is saturated with CGC slabs. If fewer of them come to market, it's better for stable prices moving forward. Very good point, I think.
Oh, man. Well, the other ones really made me laugh. That is not only a good point, but a well-constructed sentence.
Yes, and I think he's high on painkillers, too.
Broken ribs or whatever.
We got the Pope with only applicable on free comic book day books, which is our discount card. Brendan Riley, love Jason Aaron and the run. This is another Brendan and the on this and the run and the art. That being said, with those arms being so massive, Thor could not even reach back to wipe his ass, just like Martin said in Bad Boys 2. That's the Thor number one. The only Clark I know is Superman. When we were talking about Will Clark,
one, yeah.
Two of the tools that created Chet are right here. Well done. Yeah. Chet's kind of homely. We said that. Sorry, Caleb. My wife. We crop dusting. And do I have to beg Chet? Okay, man. So for me, there's two here that legitimately have a chance. And
okay, what are your two?
Louise.
Okay.
And Raw Dog. Chet's kind of homely.
Those are my two. Those are my
because
two
they apply to the show, whereas Brendan with his wife crop dusting me.
As great of a comment it was, it didn't have to do with the show. Yeah,
well, it kind of does. He says, and I took it out on the Canon audience. But I think it's closer. Yeah, Chet's kind of homely. It's between Chet's kind of homely and Louis Logic's. This is tough. For audience appreciation night, the first audience appreciation night.
Yo, Jeff, how about this? I'm going to give it to both of them.
What?
I've got so many copies of those books.
Don't tell everybody that.
I'm going to give it to both of them. Louis, Raw Dog, you both get it. I don't want to pick between these two because they're on different ends of the spectrum. One made me laugh, and the other one was thought-provoking. So
yes, it was. So congratulations, Louis. Hit us up, and Raw Dog, hit us up with your addresses. I think Raw Dog gave us his address at one point. But congratulations on that. And congratulations to all of you, because you all get the Comic Book Canon discount card. Where is it? Hold on. Yes, that's right. The Comic Book Canon discount card, 50% off all comics at participating stores. We are a global brand, Comic Book Canon. We have millions of people watching us. We have millions of comic book shop owners, distributors, etc., etc. They all know Comic Book Canon, and we're pretty sure that they'll give you 50% off. I'm going to have a talk with my comic book shop. Joe's going to go into his comic book shop. We want to see from you all going into your comic book shops with video or pictures and let us know how they react. They're probably going to give you a standing ovation because they know how great Comic Book Canon is, how it's enriched everybody's lives. And that's kind of the prize you get for being part of this amazing community. Congratulations to Raw Dog. Congratulations to Louis Logics for winning first appreciation night. I'm going to take care of this real quick. I know he's probably got something to say. Chet, do you have anything you want to say for the end of the show right here?
Thanks for having me, guys. I always enjoy teaching those who don't know much about comics. You're welcome. It's been...
Thanks, man. Yeah, amazing having Chris on again tonight. He'll be easing his way back into the show. This has been a blast of a show. We know we make fun, but Chet is here to stay because he has power over our bank accounts. And if we kick him off, he's going to wipe out all our crypto money or whatever it is. Joseph, do you have any final words?
Everyone, please wear your pajamas inside out and put a fork under your pillow or whatever it does, whatever you need to do to stop the rain from hitting the Philadelphia area on Saturday. I would really love to have Back Deck Comic Fest. If it does rain, we're going to do the same thing we did last week. Myself and Jeff Mazza from Comic Dunes will be doing online sales all day, both on my Instagram and his Whatnot account. But let's hope it doesn't come down to that. Let's hope that we get some clear weather. We can be outside set up, and Jeff will be running Whatnot sales all day either way. So,
I got to agree with this. That's really bad advice. But
I just made something up that seemed like it would be some like myth, wives' tale, whatever you want to call it.
All right. In all seriousness, though, you guys are the reason we do this show. We have a blast with you each and every night. I've been going through some shit in life, like, again, depression, anxiety, and I know I can count on everybody here to just come together, laugh, talk about the things that we love. It's a comic book show. We talk music, we talk sports, we talk everything around that kind of connects us. And there's more that does connect us than doesn't. So I truly appreciate you. I know Joe does, Chris does as well. It's been crazy. I think we're almost at 3 years now, and we're just still, I think we're having more fun than we ever had. So again, I just want to say thanks. We'll be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Until then, be good to yourself and be good to your others. Peace.